The rest gained from sleep is just as deep, whether you are lucid in sleep or just dead to the world in sleep. Both situations will provide that, but one of them feels more restful than the other. Because if a person is lucid during sleep, it can feel like not sleep sometimes, especially deep sleep, because deep sleep is that baby in the arms of mother, is that soul resting in the heart of God feeling. And that feeling is so delicate and it's so subtle that it can be there almost unnoticed while lying in bed with the eyes closed. But I'm looking again at the nerve. We're still at the nervous system because the sleep is all about the changes in the functions in the nervous system. And I'm looking at the area between the reticular activating system, which is in the back of the head near the occipital cortex, and the third ventricle of the brain, where the pineal gland resides, and the pineal gland responsible for producing melatonin to help the body sleep. Looks like thought forms in the chest area. There's some agitation. Feels like thought forms in the chest area and in the heart energy center, which give rise to activity that compels the nervous system to maintain a sort of agitated condition, even at night when one wants to fall asleep. And the thought forms circulate around concern over outcomes. Concern over outcomes. This is very responsible. The more responsible people are, the more they tend to be concerned over outcomes, right? Because they're like, well, it's on me. I got to make this happen. But ultimately, outcomes are in the hands of the divine. They're in the department of the Almighty. Ultimately, replacing the habit of feeling the weight of responsibility from at the mental and emotional levels of the body and the mental and emotional bodies. So isolating out that habit and looking at the field underneath it. And of course, the field underneath it is that sense of self-identity of being a responsible person. And there are lots of lists of responsibilities, but justifications. It's not that we stop being responsible for our actions, for our attempts to make good choices and decisions. We stop being responsible for the outcomes. So that it's just a little shift that's going on in the mental and emotional bodies. It doesn't mean that the soul overall doesn't know that, because obviously you already know that. On some level, you already know that all outcomes are in the hands of the divine, but in the department of the Almighty. But what's underneath it is a sense of self, sometimes feeling or requiring also some validation for what happens good, what happens not good. It's just taking it on. There's a lot of taking it on oneself. And these are points within the field of relationship between totality and individuality where more orientation can be toward totality. And it doesn't mean that we lose ourself entirely or we lose ourself. It's that the self becomes more intimately married to the divine. It definitely helps you fall asleep. It helps a person fall asleep. To know, oh, I don't have to fully carry that. I'm not carrying that all by myself. I have help. I have support. And however it works out, even if the worst case scenario works out, it's still going to be absolutely good for me and my family. And it's going to help us get closer to the goal